I'm having little bit cold and cough both. Okay. Okay. Now, yeah, collections. Why do we need collections? Okay. Why do we need collections? So collection itself is like it's a group, right? The name itself is saying it is a group of something. It's a group of something. Okay. Group of whatever it is, something. Now, already we have arrays. What is the need of arrays, guys? Arrays. Yes, exactly. It is a indexed collection of homogeneous, homogeneous data elements to store of indexed collection of homogeneous elements. Okay, and it can store of all same data type. Correct or not? Arrays means let's say integer array I equal to. Okay, now I can store of 10 comma 20 comma 30. I can store of same type, right? If I'm trying to store of if I'm trying to store of different value, if I'm trying to store of different value, it will not accept. Okay, so what is mean by homogeneous means homogeneous means it is of same. Okay, homogeneous data elements means same data type elements, same data types. Okay, either integer means integer array. If it is a string array means string array. If you want to store of string array means string. Okay, string string array s equal to we can store of all string related. Okay, we can store of all string related. If you want to store of all different whatever the type that you are, whatever the type you are creating of array, it should be of same type of data. Okay, now the main advantage of arrays is to store of we can represent normally if I want to store of three integer numbers, before what is the option? Normally either we can do of int a equal to 10. Okay, int b equal to 20. Okay, int c equal to 30. Correct or not? Let's assume we don't have option of we don't have the concept of int arrays. Okay, then to represent of three values, what we can use? We can create of separate variables. Correct or not? Right, guys? Please respond. Yes, yeah. Now, instead of let's say if I want to store of 100 elements means 100 data values, then we need to create of 100 values, 100 integer values, 100 integer values. It will increase the code size also, right or not? It will increase the code size also. Instead of creating multiple variables of same data types, so I want to create of one array to store of 100 elements of same data type. Okay, array, variable and data. Okay, these are different, remove it. Okay, now this is up to storing of collections. And one more thing, whenever we are creating integer array, compulsory the size is important or not. Let's say I'm creating just array object, new int of 5. Compulsory this 4 or 5 the size is compulsory if you are creating an array. Let's now in that case what I can do, I can store of up to 4 elements. Or else how can we, if you're creating array object like this, then array of 0, array of 0 equal to 10. Okay, array of 1, I of 1 equal to 20, I of 2, I of 2 equal to 30, I of 4, I of 3, I of 3 equal to A of 3 equal to 40. Okay. So now we are created of 4 elements. So if I are trying to insert of one more element, if I am trying to insert of one more element, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I give size also 4. If I am trying to insert I of 4, I of 4, I of 4 equal to 50, just assume I am giving. Then in this case, it will throw an exception. What is the exception? Array index out of bound exception. That means that there is some limitations is there for arrays. Okay, there is some, let's say I given as 4, but I want to store of 10 elements. So in this array storing of 10 elements is possible or not? So I created array with size is 4. So can I store 10 elements in this array? No, it is not possible. So that is one drawback. Correct or not? Arrays drawback. Now we'll see the drawbacks also. Okay, soon. First, let's read one topic. This one, if any doubt is there, we'll revise it again. Array is an indexed collection of indexed collection means 0, 1, 2, 3. It is an index, right? So on 0th index 10 value is there, first index 20 is there, second index 30, third index 40 is there. Okay, it is indexed collection of homogeneous data elements. It is of same data elements, same data type elements. Okay, now next or array represents a group of elements of same data type. And both are same. And the main advantage of array is we can represent hug number of elements. We can represent a group of elements by a single variable. So either this way or int array of a equal to directly like this also. Directly like this also we can represent a group of elements by using a single variable. The variable a contains all the data. Okay, 10, 20, 30, 40, all data is there, so that the readability of code will be improved. So instead of writing of that many number of variables, writing a single line is best way, and it is easy to read also. Then you can easily understood, yes, this array contains of multiple data. Okay, now there are some limitations is there. Okay, why do you need to came to collections? Why the collection concept is introduced? What is the purpose of that? Is even though already arrays is there to store of group of elements, right? Now why arrays are the drawbacks is the yeah, drawbacks of sorry, drawbacks drawbacks of arrays. Okay, drawbacks of arrays is like arrays are fixed in size. Arrays are fixed in size. Let's say we created an array. Okay, once we created an array object, there is no chance of increasing or decreasing the size. Once we created an array object, so this value we can't modify. The value of size is we can't modify based on our requirement. So compulsory to create, and if you want to store of some 100 elements, so compulsory if you want to create of any array, compulsory the size must be, you should know that. Let's say you are trying to get some data from database, you don't know how many number of data is there in the database, then in that case it is very difficult to create an array object. It's very difficult to create an array object. So in that case, that is one drawback. And arrays can store of only homogeneous data element. Arrays can store only same type of data. It cannot store of different data objects. That is also one drawback. Okay, and if you want to implement of if you want to implement, let's say there is one array object is there. You want to filter off some data. You want to filter some only even numbers or odd numbers or some okay, you want to add or you want to delete or something is there. There is no ready-made method is available. There is no ready-made method is available to call off on top of array object. Okay, if there is any requirement is there, let's say if you want to filter off only, if you want to filter off only 25, so I want to get off only odd numbers out of this one. So we don't have any method, existing method is not there in the arrays to find out only odd numbers. Okay, and like that if you want to write off any new requirement is means compulsory we should write the logic to filter the odd numbers or whatever it is, some logic. Okay, now let's that is also one drawback, right? Now explicitly we need to write our own logic to implement that requirement. Okay, to overcome of all these problems. Okay, to overcome of all these problems, we need to go for a collection concept. We need to go for a collection concept. What is the advantage of collection? Okay, collection means the advantage of collection is advantage of collection is it can store, it can, let's say in the collection, let's say right now I have only four elements, four data is there, four elements data is there, you can store four elements. In the future you are getting of somewhat 10 elements extra, so dynamically the collection can improve, that collection can grow that the size of the collection, we don't need to struggle. So based on our requirement, so we can increase the size or decrease the size. Okay, let's say in this case I want to store only four elements. Okay, then in that case collection can store elements. In future we got of some more four elements. Okay, some more one more four elements. Collection can store whatever the new elements also that is coming, so dynamically it can increase the size. Okay, let's say you deleted again this one, then it will decrease the size again automatically. So based on our requirement, it can increase the size or it can decrease the size. Okay, so the memory point of view, okay, the memory point of view means, let's say you create one array with four size, then automatically JVM will allocate memory for four elements. JVM automatically it will create one memory for four elements. Whether it doesn't matter you are you added only two elements in the array or not, but but it will it will create memory for all four elements. Okay, 1 second, guys, please. Yeah, thank you. Now, where we are? Yeah. Now, so whenever you're creating an array, compulsory for four elements, the data memory will be allocated. But in case of collections, whatever the number of elements that you have in the collection, for that only memory will be allocated. It's not like, so in this case, let's say if I'm giving 100, if I'm giving 100 for 100 elements, it can allocate of 400 bytes of memory. 400 bytes of memory it will be allocated. But out of 100, I added only two elements, but actually in the 400 bytes of memory only two elements is there, but I created a 400 bytes, but in that case memory will be wasted. Okay, that is one advantage. And then the next advantage is so collection can hold both homogeneous as well as heterogeneous, both the data it can store. Homogeneous means same data of data it can store, or different type of data also it can store. Okay, it is not only like all data of that collection must be same type. Okay, it can store up homogeneous as well as heterogeneous. Heterogeneous means different data types. Okay, that's what. Now, and next, for every collection class, for every collection, let's say you are creating of some collection. Okay, so I'll tell you guys what are the implemented class of collections, all those things. Okay, I have created one collection class. Okay, already Java people are added many of the common methods, many of the common methods that can be used, that can be used overall collection. All that methods implementation also done by the Java people. Okay, they have added, and all the classes are added in the collection package. Our work is as a developer, we should know which method is suitable for our requirement, which method is suitable for our requirement or functionality. Our work is only to identify the which method is suitable for my work. Okay, now we'll see all the methods also soon. Now let's what is the difference between arrays and collections, that we'll see before going to that. Now, the limitations of array. Arrays are fixed in size. That is, once we created an array, there is no chance of increasing or decreasing the size based on our requirement. Let's say right now your requirement is 10. Okay. Later after 1 month your requirement is coming as 100. Then in that case, increasing or decreasing the size is not possible in array. Okay. Hence, we can use hence to use arrays concept compulsory we should know the size in advance, which may not possible always. Okay, so sometimes let's say directions, you want to store all directions in one array. Okay, east, west, north, south, there is no change in that. Okay, only four directions. That in that case, we can keep directly the size is 4. Okay, but let's say we want to get off some data from database. We don't know how many records it will come. In that case, the size is not possible. We can't say what is the how many number of records is there. Today maybe 10 records. Tomorrow some other people are joined in the office. You may get off a different size of records. Right or not? In that case, it is not possible to store all those data in array if you don't know the size in advance. Okay. And next, arrays can hold homogeneous data elements. It can store only of type same data type elements. It can store arrays. Either integer means it can store of integer. Float means it can store of only float. String means it can store of only string data type elements. Okay. Now there is a second point. Next is arrays concept is not implemented based on some data structure. So internally there is no data structure for arrays. Okay, so that means ready-made method support. Ready-made means existing methods. Ready-made method means existing already implemented methods. That support is not there for arrays. So ready-made method support is we can't expect. We can't expect. We can't expect. For every requirement, we have to write the code explicitly. We have to write the code explicitly based on our requirement. Is it clear, guys? This one, the limitations why the collections will come. So to overcome of all these problems, the collections came into the picture. Collections came into the picture. Let's read this point also. Collections are growable in nature. Based on our requirement, we can increase or decrease the size. Okay, based on increase, based on requirement we can increase or decrease the size. So hence memory point of view, collections are recommended to use. Okay, and next, collection can hold homogeneous as well as heterogeneous objects both, but all collections will store only the objects. Only it can store of object, no primitive types, no primitive type values. Even though if you are giving as int value, internally it will convert as a integer class. There is a class called integer. There is a class called double. There is a class called float. Okay. Even though if you are giving those values, internally it will create of if you are giving int value, then it will create of integer object, and then that object can store inside collection. Okay. Next, every collection class implemented. Every collection class. Sorry, every collection class is implemented based on some data structure, some standard data structures, guys. Some data structures. How exactly internally it will store of some data? It is of based on some data structure. Internal data structure is there. Okay, so based on some data structures, all collection classes are implemented. Okay, so that every requirement, okay, it is based on some standard data structures, right? For every requirement, there is some ready-made method, some existing methods are available. As a programmer, we can use those methods. As a programmer, we can use those methods directly without writing the functionality on our own. We don't need to write any functionality. 99%, 99.99%, we no need of we no need to write our own functionality for collections class to store of any data or for retrieving or for deleting or for modification, anything. Okay, we don't need to write off any methods on our own. Okay, so is it clear first to up to now why collections came? Okay, now we'll see more about the collections. Guys, is it clear why the limitations and why collections are introduced? If not, I'll repeat it. Any point is not understood means. Okay. So collections already is there, guys, in the Java. So why after once already collections there in the Java? Why do we need collections? Means there are some drawbacks in the arrays. There are some we can store the collection of elements in the arrays, but there is some drawbacks in the arrays to store while storing. So compulsory while you are storing of created an array means compulsory we should know the size before going to create an array object. If you are creating array object, compulsory the size is you should be inside, then only you can store of the elements. Without size it will give an error. If you want, let's go on. let's fib, let's package third civil collection. Inside collection, let me create a one class array test. So if you are creating of any array object, if you are creating of any array object, new int of so without size, it will not accept it. Without size, it will not accept it. Compulsory. See, variable must provide either dimension or an array initializer. With it should compulsory, it should initialize with some array. It doesn't matter at least one or zero also. Some size is required. Okay. Without that, it will not accept it. That is one drawback. And if it is a I of just give us 2. Okay, now I have 0. Okay, I can store store of 10. I have 1. Then if I'm giving of if I'm giving IBC, let's see will it accept or not. So it is not accepting because cannot convert from string to int. So I'm expecting of only integer values to store inside arrays, but you are giving as a string value. That is not possible. I can't store it. Okay, that is one drawback. Next, so inside this, let's say I have 20 20 whatever it is, doesn't matter. I have 0 and 1 already given as size is 2, right? 5, 2, 25. Just assume. So out of these three, so I want to store off. I want to know only some requirement. I want to perform some operations on this data. Let's say 100 elements is there. I want to perform some operations on. I want to sum of all the data of this array. Okay, sum of. I want to know only. I want to know only odd numbers. I want to know only even numbers. Okay, either there are some requirement is there. In that case, compulsory we should write our own logic. We should write off our own logic to do our own functionality. But in case of these are the drawbacks, all these drawbacks that we can overcome. Okay, all these drawbacks that we can overcome by using of collections. Automatically if you are storing of some data, if you are, let's say, create of arr array list, there is one class al equal to new array list, new array list, control z, array list. Okay, it can store of it can store of both heterogeneous. I can store of al dot add of, there is a existing method is there. Okay, for adding of 10, for adding of 10, al dot add of object. So I can store of ibc, can store of ibc also, no error. Okay, I can store of al dot add of float 10.56 or 65 f. Okay, it can store of integer as a string as well as float. It can store, that means that it can store of heterogeneous elements. Heterogeneous means different type of elements, the meaning of that. Okay, now that is one thing. So if I want to store of by default it will be there some size. If it is, let's say, default of 10 elements, it can store, just assume it can store of 10 elements. Then once we are trying to add of 11th element, automatically the size of array list will be automatically, it will increase. Automatically JVM will increase that size. We don't need to do that. But in case of arrays, that is not possible. Okay, and if you want to read off some data, to add up some data, to delete off some data, al dot remove of first element I want to remove, then give the index, it will remove that element. Okay, Like that, we have lot of methods is there. If you want to add off some different collection in this, then we have. If I want to add off at particular position, if I want to add off some element, add off index comma object. Okay, add off on third position. I want to add off. I want to add off some techno. I want to add off some techno like this. For every requirement, the ready-made method support is available in collection. Okay, as a developer, we should know which method is suitable for our requirement. That is only our work in haste of collections. Is it clear? You were asked this one. Okay, now let's. What is the difference between? Till now we discussed collection and drawbacks of arrays and why collections are introduced. Now let's see what is the difference between arrays and collections. Okay, now collections, sorry, arrays first. So arrays are fixed in size, correct or not? Size is array size is fixed, but collection size can be growable in nature, right or not? Arrays collection. Okay, arrays can be fixed in size always. Array size is always fixed, but collections is growable in nature. So based on a requirement, it can increase and it can decrease that. Okay. Next, memory point of view. Arrays are not recommended to use. If let's say I have given five array size, but I have stored only three elements. The rest of the two elements, memory is wasted. Okay, memory is waste only. But memory point of view, collections are recommended to use. How many number of elements is there? That much memory only it will be consumed. Okay, collections are good, but performance point of view performance point of view, collections are recommended to use because we know that size. Okay, we know 100 elements is there means within 100 we can get we know the size in advance, right? So if you want to for iteration for getting a particular element, it is easy to it is easy and it is and fast. Okay, performance wise it is easy, but memory wise is not good. And collections are performance point of view, it is not recommended to use. Let's say collections can store of lakhs of it can store, it can increase and decrease, right? But performance point of view, collections are not recommended to use. Okay, and next, arrays can hold only homogeneous data elements. That is also one drawback. And collection can store any type of data. It can be store of homogeneous as well as heterogeneous, both it can store. Okay, next, there is no underlying data structure for arrays. Okay, and no ready-made methods also not available in case of arrays. But in collections, all collection classes are having implemented based on some data structure. So ready-made method support is available for collection implemented classes. We no need to write any method. Okay, as a programmer we should know which method is suitable for our requirement. That is of one more difference. And arrays can store only primitives. Arrays can hold primitives as well as object, sorry, arrays can store primitives as well as objects, both it can store. But collection can store of only objects, not primitives. Even though if I am giving here as it is a primitive integer, right? It is of integer. So even if you are passing as integer, it will convert into internally. What it will do is there is a class called there is a class called integer. See, integer I. So new integer of 10 it will convert, and this object will be stored inside here. This object will be stored inside that. Even if you are passing 10 also directly, even though if you are passing 10 directly, it is of some a value, just to give some duplicate value. See, so it is not giving any error. So even though if you are giving here as 10, internally compiler will add like this, and then that value will be stored here. Okay. Now that's what the difference is. Okay. Next, what is collection? What is collection? Now Now let's see. Now coming to the collection definition. Collection is a collection is now collection is means normal definition is group of something. Okay, group of something you are keeping in one place. Okay, now let's give the some Java definition. If you want to represent some group of objects or group of elements as a single entity, if you want to represent the group of object into a single entity, then we should go for collections. Okay, now collection is a group of objects. If you want to represent a group of object as a single entity, then we'll call it as a collection. Okay, now there is a one more, there is collections. Collections, there is no s here, guys. Here is yes. Okay, collections is a class, utility class. Collections is a utility class. What they have defined inside that means there are a lot of methods they have written, a lot of methods they have written inside this class. Those methods we can be used for any collection class object. Those methods by default we can use for any collection class object. Okay, to to fulfill of our requirement. Okay, now next coming to collection framework. Collections is a and it is a interface, guys, and it is a interface. In interface collection there is a interface is there. Okay, but this is a class. Next, coming to collection framework. Collection framework. Framework is nothing but a group of classes and interfaces. Group of classes and interfaces. Now, collection framework. Collection framework means it is a collection of classes and interfaces to represent group of object as a single entity. Group of object as a single entity. Then collection framework, Java people introduced collection framework. As part of that, they have written many classes and interfaces to represent the group of objects. Okay, now Java collection framework. Java collection framework. It has of some predefined classes is there. Some predefined classes and interface is there. Now, let's go and has it defines several classes and interfaces to represent a group of object as a single entity. Java collection framework provides some predefined classes and interfaces to handle such group of object to handle the group of object. So directly we can't store in collection. There are some predefined classes and interfaces is available to achieve that group of storing of group of elements into a single entity. Okay, now, using collection framework, we can store of using collection framework, you can store of object as a list and as a set. Okay, as a list you want to store, as a set you want to store, as a queue also you can store. So and map also to perform we can. Okay, we can store anyways. As a list you want to store, or set you want to store, or queue or map. Okay, and along with that, okay, as a set, as a queue and as a map to perform operations like adding an object, removing an object, and sorting of objects, and to delete and to modification for anything. Already some operations are already available. Okay, we don't need to struggle much thing. Now, hierarchy of collection framework. What is the hierarchy? The top class in collection is the top class in collection is we'll call it as a iterable. Top class in collection is iterable class is iterable. Okay, iterable is a interface. Okay, so the first class is iterable. Under that, that iterable is extended by collection. Collection is an interface, guys. Collection is an interface. Now let's read this. All class and interface related to collection framework are placed under util package. Under util package, all collection related, guys, there are hundreds of classes there. All classes are added by the all classes predefined classes are added by the Java people under java dot util package. Okay, easily if you want to know of any collection classes, then directly we can go to the util package and you can search for it. Okay, All are collection related. Now, next, first class is first interface is iterable. Under that, it will be of collection. Under that, it will be of collection. Guys, whatever it is in yellow around, those will call it as interfaces. See, those are interfaces. Under collection, list is an interface, queue is interface, and set is also an interface. And sorted set is also under set. There is one more a sub interface that is called sorted set. Okay, all these interfaces are implemented by their own classes. Now, list interface is implemented by arlist and vector and a linked list. Okay, and the same linked list is implemented by queue as well. Queue as well, and along with that, priority queue also implemented queue interface. Okay, we'll see there are a lot of methods is available in array, list, and vector and linked list, and all these are very important classes, guys. Based on our requirement, we need to choose. We will decide it which one is suitable for our requirement. Either list is suitable, or vector is suitable, or linked list is suitable, or hash set, or linked hash set, or tree set. Like that, based on our requirement, we will decide that. Okay, that will come to know. Next, map. Map is as a, it is not under collection. Map is a, it is of a different interface. It is a different interface. There is no relation between collection and map interface. Till now under collection, we can store of only means there is no key value pairs. There is no key value pairs. Let's say the employee is this one and value is this one. But in case of only we can add the data. Okay, different type of data also we can add it. But it is not possible to store of key value pair information. Let's say username is this one, password is this one. Okay, username value, password value. Like that, if you want to store key value pair information, then we will go for map interface. Okay, under map, sorted map is there, and map implemented classes are hash map, linked hash map, and tree map. These are the map implemented classes. Now let's go to collection, first one. Let's go to first one. Okay, and these are theory part, guys. So practical things while explain, then I will go for Eclipse. Okay. Now, collection. If you want to represent a group of individual object as a single entity, group of individual object as a single entity, then we should go for collection concept. Okay. In general, we can consider collection as a root interface of entire collection framework. Okay. Now, collection is one interface I told you, right? So that is the root interface of that is the see it is implementing of list. It is implementing of list interface. Let's say R list. R list is coming from list, right? See, implements of list interface. Let's go to list. List implements of collection. List implements of collection. Collection extends of iterable. That's what our flow. See, iterable, under iterable, collection is there. Under collection, list is there, queue is there, set is there, and sorted set. There are a lot of other sub interfaces there under collection. Each has its own priority. Now let's go to our document. Come down. Collection is a root interface for collection framework. That's for the second point. It's a root, okay, and are as a first interface. Collection interface defines most common methods. Collection, it is an interface. All collection interface contains some abstract methods are there. Okay, abstract methods are available. So whoever is implementing that interface, they will provide see lot of methods is there. Size, easy empty, contains, iterator, two array, and add, remove. So there are a lot of methods is available in collection interface. All these abstract methods only see ended with semicolon. Okay, now all these classes, all these methods are implemented all these methods are implemented in all these methods are implemented in see it is of r list class. This class is implementing all the methods of collection interface as well as list interface. So list is extending collection, collection is extending iterable. So all these are implemented in array list class. If you want, you can see of lot of all the methods. See, is empty, size, okay, contains, to array, all these methods are there in the collection interface. For those methods rlist class is provided implementation. Okay, not only rlist class, all classes are provided implementation for collection interface. The methods which are available inside collection and abstract and methods in collection interface. Now, next point. So collection interface defines most commonly methods which can be applicable for entire collection object. Okay. So everything we can say it is of one collection object, it is of one more collection object. Everything will call it as a one collection object. Those methods is applicable for all collection implemented classes. Collection implemented classes, guys. Next, there is no there is no concrete class which implements a collection interface directly. So the meaning of this is so there is no class there is no class that implements the collection interface directly. Okay, directly means there is no class like let's say go up. Yeah, it is of array list. So there is no class that implements directly, implements a collection. Okay, so the list is implementing, list is extending collection. So that means that whatever the methods that are available in a collection, all that would be available to list also. Along with that methods, they have added their own methods also. Okay, that's what list. Now that's what the point. Next point. Where is the next point? There is no concrete class which implements the collection interface directly. So indirectly only the implemented class are implementing the provided implementation for all the methods of collection interface. Next, collection interface extends iterable. So that's we had already seen. Collection interface is extending iterable. So which is a member of java.lang package. Fine. Iterable interface has only one method that is called iterator method. That is called iterate method. What is the purpose of iterate method? Means to iterate the collection data. To iterate the collection data, they have provided one method called iterated. It is from iterable. Okay. Next point. Let's. Yeah, it returns an iterator object. Using that object, we can iterate over the elements of collection. To iterate the data, we can use of iterable object. And there is no concrete class implement directly. This is already duplicate one. No need. Okay. Now, the common methods of collection interface is these methods are applicable for all the collection implemented classes. Okay, what is those? Add method, add of object. It can store of any type of object. Object means object is superclass for all the classes in Java, right? So it can store of integer, it can store of float, it can store of string, it can store of our own class also, our own customized class also it can store it. Okay, if you want to add single object, add method. If you want to add all of collection, let's say we are created two collection object. If you want to include of other collection in some other collection, then we can use of add all of collection object. Then in that case it will add all of the child. Example, this is of a collection class, right? Now if I am creating of one more collection object, okay, one more collection object of al1. Okay, al1 dot add of 20. Okay, if I am storing of al1 dot add all of if I can store of al object, then actually it's AL of one object contains only one data. But if I'm add all of AL, if I'm adding, then if I'm printing system.out.println of AL1, then it will get off this data as well as this one both will get. Now let's see what happened. Index size is 3. This of this related to this. Line Java 23. Second, guys. What happened? Okay, this is the one. It is causing issue. Yeah. Now we'll get off this data as well as 20. Both will get it now. Let's see. See, we are getting 20, we are getting 10, we are getting IBC, we are getting 12.65. So if I'm adding here as one more, okay, just assume add of 50. Then along with in AL, we are using of add all method, right? It will print off all AL data, list data as well as AL1. Both it will print it. So it is printing of all. Okay, so that is use of add all. If you want to add different collection, different entire collection, if you want to add, then you can go for add all. So remove method. If you want to remove an object from the collection, then we can remove of object which you want to delete. Remove all. Then it will delete of all that objects. If it is a duplicate means, okay, all occurrences it will delete. Retain all. Okay, retain all means I'll explain more about this in the later. Okay, in the through example. Next, if you want to clear off all the data, if you want to clear off all the data of that collection, if you are clearing calling of clear method, then it will delete off all the elements in that array list. Okay, now contains. If you want to check, if you want to check, so al1 dot contains of 20, contains of 20. If it is already there, it will. If it is already there, then it will return true. If it is not there, it will return false. Okay, contains all. If you want to check off some, let's say 100 elements is there, out of that 10 elements you want to check whether it is there or not. With the 10 elements, I'll check. With the 10 elements, I'll create a separate collection and I'll check if the contains all of that collection. Then it will check all the child collection is available inside the parent collection or not. So even this also we'll see through some example. Okay, next, is empty. Okay, you want to check whether the collection is empty or not. Collection is empty, and by using is empty we can. So if you want to know the size, how many number of elements is available in the collection, if you want to know that, then we can use of size. If you want to convert that collection into a object array, then we can call off to array. Okay, if you want to iterate the data, then we can call off iterate method. This is of iterable method, that is calling inheriting to collection interface. These are the common methods that will be used. These are common methods that will be used for any collection classes. Any collection classes. Okay, now now first where we are, one collection. Okay, collection is over. Now coming to list. List is also an interface. Okay, list is also a interface. So what are the implemented classes of list interface? Sorry, implemented class of list interface. Now let's see, back, come down. Yeah, list interface. List is also I told you that, I told you. So these are all interfaces, guys, which are showing in yellow. Collection is all interface, IEEE is all interface, list is all interface, queue, set, sorted set. All these are interfaces, not classes. So compulsory there might be some classes that are required. There might be some classes that are required to provide implementation of the methods that are available in that interface. Interface contains only abstract methods. right? So for those methods, compulsory there might be some classes required to provide implementation. Okay, now list is a interface. Let's see what are the implementation classes of list interface. Okay, it is a child interface of collection. Okay, it is a child interface of collection. If you want to represent if you want to represent a group of individual objects as a single entity, where the condition, guys, here where you want duplicates are allow and insertion order is preserved, then we should go for list interface. What is mean by duplicate? What is mean by insertion order is preserved? Okay, now let's take off. Now let's al dot add of 10 dot add of 10, like that. Just assume of I'm adding of some data 10, 20, 30, 40. Again 10 I have stored. So it can store of duplicate. It will not avoid that. It is a duplicate data, right? Integer. It is a duplicate data. Normally, it should not store, but our list will accept the duplicate data. And however, the order that we are inserted here, however, the order that we are inserted here, the data 10, 20, 30, 40, and again 10. In this order only, it will store the data. That's what insertion order is preserved means. Insertion order is preserved means. I'm printing that it will whatever the order that we are inserted in same order only it will print. See, if I'm giving as 50 here, then see it will store up, it will come in the 50, 10, 30, 40, 10. So however we are inserted the data, okay, even your requirement also, however I inserted the data in the array list, in the same way only I want to return, and duplicates also it should allow. That is a requirement. Then in that case we can choose of array list object, array list class. Now let's go to next list. Under that we can choose of multiple classes there again. The classes which implements list interface is arraylist, vector, and linked list. These are the three classes. These are three classes that implements list interface. That implements of list interface. Now again, there are some specific methods. There are some specific methods that are available in the list interface. So under list, there are a lot of methods are inherited from collection interface. Along with those inherited methods, list has its own methods. List has its own methods for list implemented classes. Collection methods are for all collections. List, set, queue for any class we can use of the collection implement collection methods, but there are some specific methods to the list. Okay, those methods is applicable for only list implemented classes. Okay, what are those? What are those? Now let's say inside list there are some methods is available. Okay, inside collection also there are some methods is available. So this is the root interface. This interface is extended by all other collection interfaces, right? So my list interface having these methods, the methods which are in collection, the methods which are specific to the list also is there some methods. Okay, what are those means? Add method, add of index and object. If you want to store off, if you want to store off al dot add of, add of not the first one, there is a one more method, see, into index and object element. Okay, now I want to store my element in the second position with some 160 or 600, just assume. Then in that case 0, 1, 2, in this place it will add 600 now in that index. See, 50, 0 index, first index, and second index. I am giving on particular index I want to store this value. That new method is added in the list interface. Like that, if you want to add off some collection, if you want to add off some different collection in this position, in this positions to start, then add all of int index comma collection. We'll see example, guys. I'm telling what are the methods that are available. Next, object of get. If I want to get up some particular index value, then I can use of get method. If I want to remove some particular index value, then I can use of remove of index. If I want to set up some index value on that value, so already some value is there. In that index, I want to set a new value. Okay, I want to override that value. Let's say first is 50 is there, the 0th position. If I want to AL dot set index of 0, and instead of 50 I want to store of 100. I want to store of 100. Now let's see, it will override that value 50 to 100. That is the method for set. Index of object. What is the index of index of 40? If you want to know that, then we can use of index method. And what is the last index of object? Last index when it will come means we have 10 is just assume 10 two times is there. What is the last index of 10? Then in that case it will give off last index where exactly the 10 is available. 0 1 2 3 fourth position the 10 is there. If you are using index of then it will give off first index. If you are using last index, then last position value it will give that. That's of last index. And iterator method is to iterate the data. For iterating of data or for by using for loop is there, right? For iterating of the data we can use of iterator method. Sorry, list iterator, guys. So list iterator has its own method. It is not for other collection classes. Iterator is for all collection implemented classes, but list iterator is specifically designed for only list implemented classes. We'll see that now. Under list interface, the implemented class of list is one of the implemented class of list is array list. One of the implemented class of list interface is array list. So before going to start off array list, is anything is up to now clear, guys? If not clear, which part is not clear? Let me know. I'll repeat it that part. Part is not clear? You can ask me, guys. In the diagram, if anything is not clear, also you can ask me. Is it clear? Okay. Now array list. Array list. Okay. Now let's go to array list class. Now, our list. So underlying data structure, I told you all collection classes are implemented based on some data structure. Based on some data structure, the underlying data structure for the underlying data structure for our list is the underlying data structure for array list is it is of growable and resizable array. Growable array or resizable array, they are followed the data structure for that. Okay, and array list can store array list can store of duplicate objects. It can be allowed, and however the order that we are inserted, the array list can store. However, the order that we are inserted the data in the array list object, in the same way only it will store it. The same way it will store it. And second, guys, sorry. Uh, Sorry, guys. Now, next method is so heterogeneous objects. It can store of integer, it can store of string, it can store of multiple types data. It is storing, right? That is of heterogeneous. Next is it can store of null values also. It can store of null values also. It can store it. Okay, now let's go and read it, and if any points is there extra, we'll see that also. So underlying test structure is resizable and global array, and duplicate objects are allowed, and insertion order is preserved. So heterogeneous objects are allowed, null insertion is possible. All this see we'll see practical now. Okay, and array list vector classes are implemented. Array list and vector. What are the implemented class of list? Are list, vector, and linked list. Okay, out of three, array list class and vector class implements random access interface. One extra interface also it is implementing. Okay, one extra interface that is called a random access interface. By using this, the search is very fast. By if our class is implementing of random access interface, okay, the searching of we can, so that any random elements we can access with the same speed. Hence, our list is best suitable for retrieval or search operation. Okay, for retrieval. Now, random interface present in util package and does not contain any methods. It is a marker interface, so it does not having any methods. Okay, but if we are implementing the class as a random access interface for class implement random access, then JVM will understood that JVM will give some instructions to the JVM like yes, this class is implementing random access interface. So retrieval of this class should be fast. So it will do of some extra operations internally by the JVM if you are implementing random access interface. That JVM internally it will understood that. Okay. Now, let's go to the practical things. Yes, go ahead. Insertion order preserved means insertion order is saved or preserved. Save preserved means, let's say if I'm storing, how I storing? First I am storing the 50 value, right? Next time storing in 10. Next time adding in 30. Next time adding in 40. So in the order which I am added, the elements 50, 10, 30, 40, right? So however the order that I have added here, in the same way only the R list can store the data. See, 50 is added first, 10, 30, 40 and 70. So in the same order only it will show that. If you want, let's see. Yes, while getting also will get in the same order. Okay. Yeah, later we have set is there that will not store the order how we are inserted. It is based on some hash code that we'll see later. Okay. Now, next we'll go for a practical example. Okay. Now, let's have we'll see some example. This is of now if we are not adding, it can store of any type, right? L dot add of string also we can store of string also, right? It is allowing of string also doesn't matter. So, while we are creating, but while we are creating of any earliest object, we will use of generic type. We will use of generic type. Okay. Here inside this add up what type of data that you are storing inside R list class, R list collection class. Let's say create of I want to store of all string data inside this R list object. Then it will allow of only string class, only string type of data it will be allowed. Okay, if I'm giving here as all integer type, then it will allow of inside this we can store of only integer data. Okay, so that depends on your requirement. That depends on your requirement. Which data you want to store inside earliest object. Okay, it can store of even object also. Can store of even object also. Object is superfluous for every class. It can store of any type object. But instead of in future, if I'm using of different data types, I may get off some exceptions. Okay, to avoid that, I'm using of specific type of data only store it. Okay, I'm telling to the list just to only store string type of data in your array list object. Okay, that's what these two brackets will call it as a generic type. Remember, generic type. Which type of data you are storing inside that? Go ahead. Any question? Yes, that will store inside. While inserting that, it is come. That it will come. Al dot add out add of let's say Imran. Okay. Let's assume this is one name. So if I'm trying to insert of another Imran again, okay, just assume, okay, it will allow that. It will not give off any error. Two times it will allow. Imran and Imran is coming. Okay. Now, if I'm giving off, let's just assume if I'm giving off another different type, that is first one. Next one is AL dot add off. AL dot add off some data for this. Okay. Now, mm, puja. Okay. Like this, add off some dummy data. Okay, some data to this one. Now, that's of Ashok. That's of Prasad. That's of Guru. That's of Bharat. Okay, Bharat. So I have added of some data, right? Now, if you want to know that these elements, what are the data of this object contains 6 elements. Okay, if you want to know that, then you can print off that system.out.println of that RList object. It will print off all the data. We'll use of each and every method, guys. See, in the order which you have given, in the same order only it is storing, and it is returning also in the same order. Okay, it is of array list. Brackets is there. See, within this brackets, all these are stored. Okay. Next, if I want to know, if I want to know, list contains, I want to add up. Let's say uh, system system.out.println of al dot contains of. Let's assume puja. Do you have puja name inside that? If it is there, this contains method will return true. If puja that object is already there, it will return true. Let's say puja 1. Puja 1 is not there, right? It will return off false. Okay. The contains method, what is the use of contains? To check whether the object is available or not. Okay. Is it clear? This one? Yes. Next, if I want to add off 0, first, second, third, fourth, fifth, right? It is all data is there. I want to know on the second position or some third position. Okay. On second position or third position, I want to add off some other data also. Okay. Just add off al dot add off al dot add off add method directly will tell at the end only, guys. If I am adding add dot add off, so let's assume of that whose name Priya. Just assume I'm adding of some name Priya. Okay. Now, if I'm adding directly add method, it will add at the end. After birth only it will add it. Now, let's see that Priya is coming after. Where is Priya? What happened? 1 second, guys. Priya. Okay. Priya is not coming because we are not yet printed. This is of after adding 6, it is printed. Now after adding Priya also, I'm adding of system.out and println print it. What all the data is there inside? After that we are added one more line, right? Now let's see this. It is printing at the end only. After birth only it is printing. But my requirement is I want to add this value in third position. I want to add 0, first, second or third position. Here just assume that. Okay. Now let's see. Then in that case, add al dot add of remove this. Okay. Now add of there is a method called see second add index add index comma element. Okay, add index comma element is there. Now in this case just to give as 3, okay, comma priya. Okay, now see that where this priya value will come. Well, let's see and print it. Where priya came, guys? Sorry, just add at the end printing. Okay, it's a printing issue. Now let's where priya came 0, first, second, third position. It is inserted on third position. My requirement is instead of adding at the end, I want to add up priya in the third position. That is for add off with index. Okay. Now, is it clear this point? This one add method is adding at the end. Okay. If you want to add at the same some specific location, then we can use of add of index with value. Okay. Clear or not this one? Now, I want to know of whether the collection is empty or not. I want to know collection is empty or not. Al dot is empty. Is empty. It will return of true or false. Right. Let's print that. System dot out dot println of array list. eh, List is empty. Al dot is empty. There is a method called is empty. Is empty means what it will check whether that earliest object is empty or not. If it is empty, then it will true. It will return true. If it is not empty, it will return false. Now let's see that. Is it clear? This one is empty is clear. So what it is giving here? It is giving as false. What is the meaning by false means? Yes, collection is already there with some data. So that is the reason it is returning false. Okay. Now, if I want to get up some data from some particular index, system dot out dot println enough, I want to get off element at index 2. Just assume index 2. What is the value? What is the element index 2 value? What is the element index 2 value here, guys? Out of this? Yes, 0, 1, 2. Now let's see AL dot get of 2. What is the value of index 2? Whatever that is there, I want to get off that value. And now let's see what is the value it is giving? It is giving of value Ashok. So to get off some particular index value, then we can use of get off index. Yes, go ahead. Okay. Yes, now let's say for suppose AL dot clear it. All clear method. Okay. This clear method will delete of all the data. Now let's see what it will print it. What it is printing? This is of after deleting we are trying to get the data, right? Leave it that. It is giving what is it is giving? After deleting we are trying to get a second element data. Yeah. That is the reason it is giving error before. Okay. Now it is printing empty array. Empty array list. Right? In this line number 21, we are clear means it will delete all the data for this array list object. After that, we are trying this method is empty. It is giving true. Let's uncomment it. Then all data is there. Okay. Now it will return as false, and even the data also will return. Clear or not? Okay. Now next, if you want to get off some particular index, we can use of index value. Okay. Now if I want to know of what are the methods that is there in the here. Now get is there. Now sorry, add all of collection. Now what is our collection? We have this data, correct? Imran, all this data is there. Let's create of one more error or list of one more object I am creating. One more al1 equal to new array list of some data, right? So I'm storing of al1 dot add of 1. Two, three. Okay. So these three data elements I want to add in a single line to this object. I want to add within a single line. I want to add. Okay. After this line, add it. Okay. I want to print it right. Now al dot add all of collection. It is a different collection again. Which one? al1. Okay. Now what it will do? Whatever the data in al1, 1, 2, 3 data, that will be added to the earliest object of super. This one. Now after that I'm printing again. Uh, Here array list with sub list. Let's see. Now see at the last one now. See, it array list with the sub list is all this data is there. Bharat. After that again it is adding some data. Correct or not? Whatever that array list one is data that I'm adding in the first list only by using of add all method. If I want to add that in the some particular index in between, then add some specific index. Then from 0, 1, 2. From here it will start again that. Now let's see. See 0, 1. From here 1, 2, 3 started and Asoki started from again from remaining place. After adding of collection AL1, it is remain after that it is again rest of the elements are continuing. Is it clear this one too? Add all of collection, add all of collection of and particular index you want to store of that sub collection, different collection in the other collection. Okay, or else if you want to add of collection one in other first collection. Clear or not, guys? This one. If you understood these methods, guys, rest of all collections are will use of this type of methods only. Okay. If not clear, you can ask me. Guys, are you able to hear me? Now, add all is fine. Now, go to next method. Get method is already we have verified. It is going to give off the second index value it is giving. Okay. Get method will return that. Now, if I want to remove of one value, if I want to remove of some value, this is of sublist, comment it. It's not required. Next, if I want to system.out.println of okay, removed, remove, remove element at index 4. Just assume index 4. I want to delete of that. What is the index 4 value, guys? al dot remove of index 4. What is the value of index 4? One second. Yeah. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. The value of Prasad will be removed and this value we are printing that new array. Do you have that Prasad now? No, right? It is deleted. Okay. To use of to delete of some particular index value, we can use of remove method. Okay. Now set method. Okay. Set. So let's add it again that Prasad. Okay. Now I want to change the Prasad value to different value. Okay. Prasad value to different value I want to add it. Now al dot set of index 4, right? Fourth index so Prasad is there. Now I'm changing that value of Prasad to okay. Changing to some value to Raj. Just assume Raj. I'm adding to Raj. Now, in the particular value of Prasad, it will replace that value to Raj. If you want, you can. See, in the fourth place, and if you want to print before this, see what is the before deleting, before replacing Prasad value. Okay, now clear.
after replacement. After replacement of Prasad with Raj. Now let's see. See, this is the before replacement. Prasad is there. Okay. And after replacement, Imran, Pooja, Ashok, Priya, and Raj. Raj is replaced with Prasad. Sorry, Prasad is replaced with Raj. Okay. Is it clear this one? Set method is clear, right? Now, what is the next method? Index of. Index of. Let's say I'm adding of again. What in the position? Let's add of. Let's add of. Just add of Priya again. Okay. Add of Priya again, or let's add of Imran is there in the first position and add of last position also. Just assume Imran. Okay. First position already Imran is there. Now, if I want to know of added two times that Imran is duplicated, right? Now I want to know the index of in first index. Okay, index of Imran. Okay. Now in this case, what do you al dot index of for which value? Imran index, where exactly it is available, right? In which position Imran is available. Now let's see, it will give off where it is, in which position, 0th position it is available starting. Okay. Now I want to know the last index of okay, I want to know last index of it is a duplicate value, right? So which position, in which position the last value is there, or else in between third place, add it. Imran, add it again one more place at fifth place. More at fifth place. Now index of will give first one is 0 and the last index is where exactly it is available, where exactly the Imran is available, guys. Next, system.out print ln have print that value al. Now it is of duplicating, right? See, 1 0 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 out of 8 position, 0th value is Imran is there, first second third value Imran is there, and fifth value is Imran is also there. What is the last position of Imran? Third time, fifth position is the last position. Last time it is duplicated, right? That value it is returning back. That is what last index of Imran. Okay, these are the two methods. Now, next, if you want to iterate of the data, now you want to you want to know the size of array list. You want to know the size of array list. Then in that case, size is al dot, there is a method called size. It will return how many number of elements is available in the array list. It is going to size is 9. Okay, 3 and 3, 9. Okay. If I want to iterate of the data, if I want to iterate of the data, okay, now there is a method called iterator method, al dot iterator, call that. It will return some iterative of iterator object. From this we can iterate the data. There are multiple ways is there. Okay, while with iterator. Okay, while with iterator. Iterator has next, what it will do has next, if the data is present in the if the data is available in the iterator object, okay, or ite or it, okay, it. So what has next method will return if the data is there in the iterator object, then it will return true. Then it will fetch that value it dot next means it will return that value. Okay, it will return that value. That name is you here as name. Right. Now let's print that value. It will iterate one by one. See, the name is 9 times it is iterating and printed that data. Okay. Now, now, if you want to, yeah, go ahead. Any doubt? There is no length method here. There is no length method here. Only size only. Arrays, that is different. Yes. To know the number of elements, there the length is there. Okay. Length is a variable there. But here size is a method. See, with the curly brace is there. That means it is a method, not a variable. Okay. Now, next. Still, we have a lot of methods in the our list that we'll discuss in the tomorrow's class. Is it okay? Tomorrow also, few minutes we'll revise these methods and then we'll discuss of rest of other methods. Okay? Yeah. Please practice it, guys, before coming tomorrow. I'm telling. Yeah. Thank you, guys. We'll meet tomorrow.